So hey there peeps and peepettes, it's a beautiful day for some video games, but instead of video games, today I'm going to talk to you about some hardware. This is a review / should you buy for the Oculus Rift DK2. Should you, the consumer, throw down about $400 after shipping and all for an Oculus Rift DK2? Now, this is kind of a two-part, two-answer type question. Part one of the question would be, A, do you have $400 to blow on something that, in all honesty, you're going to do good to get, I'm going to say 10 hours if you're really, really pulling out even the cruddiest of cruddy games and things like that. And that's aside from the Oculus Cinema thing, and I'll get to that in a minute. And the other part of the big question is, are you someone who values time invested versus money invested? The two short answers for this are, oh, okay, so you do have that kind of money to throw down, and you meet the second requirement of thinking, I really value the level of enjoyment or thrill or just pure excitement from the technology that I get out of things. Now, if you have that money to throw down, and you're that type of person, like both of those in the situation of when I bought my Oculus, that was me for both of those, then yes, by all means, I think you should get an Oculus because, and here's the second part to the answer. Once you get to where you sit down to play a game on it and it doesn't really seem all that different than sitting down to play a game at your computer now without an Oculus, to where it just feels like you're sitting down for yet another gaming experience, and it doesn't do that, oh my god, VR is a thing, blow your mind thing, then maybe you should consider throwing it on eBay, which is what I did with mine, because as it turns out, people are lunatics and are paying, I'm going to say, currently I looked, and it's looking like about $420 to $450. I sold mine for $500, and after tax, shipping, everything, I was out $368 on mine. So I basically got it, had my fun, and then sold it. And it's because of their insane wait period. You can put them on there and sell them for pretty easily, at least what you paid for it. And if not, $50 to $100 more if you just put it on like a 3-day auction. So let's get on to why I think that most people honestly should buy an Oculus if you're willing to resell it. That is the huge caveat to this whole thing, is if you're willing to resell it. Because if I say, yes, throw down $400 and have 8 to 10 hours of fun if you're lucky, of really, really great fun, that's very expensive per hour. That is extremely expensive per hour. When people say it's going to be difficult to get stuff running on this, they are not kidding at all. It is extremely hard to get things running on the Rift. And if you're lucky enough to get things running, they're probably going to run like garbage. Here's one big tip for you. Hold the shift key when you're starting the EXE for any of these games, because none of them in the README or anything tell you this. This is something I had the Rift for a good 2 weeks before I just stumbled across this on a forum. And people were acting like it was just something everyone knew. And I was like, I have never heard this. Just hold the shift key whenever you click on Direct to Rift or your EXE, however you're running your games. And you'll get a settings menu. Whoa, how cool is that? Because most of these games don't have an in-game settings menu. And you can adjust your settings, because most of them, I'm running everything off of an SSD. I have a GTX 780, pretty high-end CPU. It's just a quad core, but it's a very fast CPU. Plenty of RAM, things like that. And I was pretty frequently finding games that even at the medium settings, I was like, nah, I'm going to just go ahead and drop this down to low, because the big thing with the Oculus is you need to be able to run it at 70 frames a second and absolutely never, ever, ever drop a frame. And for a lot of people that say, wow, I run everything at 60 frames a second, you're not running it at 60 frames a second in more than 1080, also in 3D. As soon as you run something in 3D, you're running the same picture twice, so you're doubling the resolution. Think about the gain that you get from 720p to 1080p on your computer monitor. That again, and then that again, is what you basically are doing for an Oculus. So it is a hardware hog to get stuff running on this, even the most basic looking things. Now, if you find a game that you can get running, for me, my favorite one was Star Wars Battle of Endor. I'm going to have some gameplay of that running here. If you play a game that runs at 70 frames a second, never drops, it's incredible. I mean, it is a mind-blowing experience. It's just phenomenal. There's no real way that I'm not articulate enough to tell you how crazy of an experience that is. I can say that for me, it was one of the #1 things I've ever done in gaming, period. But it gets old kind of fast. I'm just being honest. It gets old kind of fast. I was super excited for this thing and very quickly just kind of got bored with it. And a lot of that is just there's not a lot of software. Obviously, the platform itself isn't technically out yet. I know it practically might as well be for those that are really in the know, but there's a lot of speculation about the Rift costing around $250 to $300 when it comes out. And that's off the shelf, no shipping. It is not out. So there are constantly games popping up on Oculus Share, which is where you mainly want to download a lot of your games and demos for this thing. But most of them are kind of the same thing. So you basically are going to say, okay, I'm going to download the 2 or 3 roller coasters that are really highly regarded. I'm going to download the 2 or 3 set-through-it experiences that are super highly regarded. Play some horror stuff on there, maybe a few flying things. But even though there are hundreds of things on there, let's be 100% clear. About 95% of it is total stupid garbage that shouldn't have been uploaded in the first place. Like stuff that someone built and is saying, here's my proof of concept. I made an Oculus game. Even that is a stretch. Them saying, I made something that functions on an Oculus. That's more like it. I would say if you don't have on the... I don't know a lot about the AMD side of cards, but if you have at least probably a 660, you should be good on the NVIDIA, on the green team. So the biggest thing, like I said, is just lack of content. And everyone told me this going in. Every forum you go to will tell you this. But this is something that I just want to... If I can talk one person out of it who is going in thinking there's going to be too much content or enough content, you're very wrong. There's not enough content. Now, that is not a knock against the Oculus. The Oculus is an incredible piece of tech. It is mind-blowing in every sense of the term. You can see from my first video that I put up of just my first experience in the Oculus, I was not exaggerating for the purpose of making an exciting YouTube video. I was just flat out, jaw on the floor, blown away the first time that I put that thing on. And for the first 2 or 3 hours, every time I put it on, I just lean back in my chair and just go, I can't freaking believe this. This is real. This is tech that I have in my house right now. I can't wait to see the consumer version and see what they really do with this thing. I enjoyed a lot of the just set-through experiences, but a lot of the stuff on this thing just is terrible. I really wasn't impressed as far as like first-person shooters on it and things like that. I didn't come to the Rift for that. The Oculus Cinema stuff, I'm going to just kind of pepper this in at the end here. That is neat. It's a very cool idea. It is pretty awesome how huge the theater looks. And I was, again, totally blown away for about 5 minutes. And then when I started really watching a movie, it's just not sharp enough. They're going to need to push like 4K in these monitors or in the screens in there for it to really seem sharp, because the screen door effect, though not as bad as I thought it was going to be when I ordered the Oculus, is still enough that you can't really just sit down and get to where you can't get to where your eyes have just adjusted to that you're not seeing the pixels. They're there. They are very much there. And it doesn't come through when you're watching these videos on a screen on your monitor. But when you see them, it's if you take a magnifying glass and hold it up to your computer screen or your TV, you will start to see the little pixels there. And it'll kind of look like a screen door. That's what everything looks like through an Oculus Rift. Because you're looking at Samsung Galaxy Note 3 or 4, I think it's a 3 screen, through magnifying glasses. That's basically what you're doing on an Oculus. Not basically, that is what you're doing on an Oculus. And so you're going to see the pixels. And the problem with them needing to push even a higher resolution to get rid of that, because there's just no way around that, is even more hardware requirements. So you're going to be saying, all right, here's this super expensive piece of tech, and also you need a $3,000 computer to run these games, and it's just not going to be a big enough market and it won't take off. So I'm hoping that they find a way around that, because I really would like to see this thing succeed and see what's done with it. So I just hope that the entire audience doesn't get bored with it before it actually comes out. That's always the risk of this early access kind of pre-order beta to the public sort of thing. So, all right, that's all I'm going to have to say, I believe, for this thing. If you've got any other questions, please comment below and ask. I will make a follow-up video. If there is more than even like 2 comments, I'll respond to you, but I will also make a follow-up video just reading through the comments and answering the questions. Real quick here at the end, just in case anyone made it this far, that previous Let's Play that I did of Overcast Walden and the Werewolf. The developers sent me some keys to give away for you guys. Now, it is a goofy game, it is a broken game, but honestly, it's an hour that I actually enjoyed in the end. So, here it is. First one to turn it in gets it. Please don't turn it in if you're not going to at least try it, because someone out there might. And leave in the comments if you've taken it so that no one else tries to claim it and it's already been claimed, so they're not wasting their time. Alright, so I've got 2 more of those that I'm going to pepper into some future videos. I've also got other codes that I'm going to start kind of spitting out here every now and then. So, thanks for watching. Thumbs up this video if you liked it. Like I said, comment. I'll get back in a future video, and also I'll just respond in the comment too. So, subscribe if you like this and would like to see more from my sexy voice. Goodbye, everyone.